Hello again, everybody. I just wanted to make a little bit more of a positive video today, and I'll talk about my main colony in another video later on. So yes, first of all, I've made a little mistake. No harm done, I hope. But yes, that's what I've made for the title of the video, so I bet I'll cover that first, and then I've got some other news towards the end. So I've underwatered the Lasius flavus. Well, I haven't technically underwatered them. I mean, I'm trying to avoid blame here. I've watered them as I normally have been watering. I've got a fairly regular watering schedule now, but obviously what has happened is because of the hot weather we've been having recently, it's dried out quicker than it normally would in earlier months, and therefore they've become underwatered, he says, trying to deflect any accusations of mistreating my ants. Anyway, one of the things I always talk about in my talks and when I'm talking about setups and how you arrange a setup is always have what I call a lifeboat. Always have a secondary water source somewhere. And my favourite secondary water source nowadays is not water towers or anything. They're such a pain to manage, water towers, and they're horrible to refill because when you disconnect them, ants escape, or else you've got to try and get the ants out. Anyway, I prefer test tubes these days. So I either stick a test tube into the setup somewhere, like on a T-junction or a four-way, or I put a test tube in the outworld, which is what I've done for the flavus. And I've got it tilted up as well, resting against the edge of the outworld on the far side, so that they don't go through the cotton and drown, because they do that when they can detect air bubbles the other side. So if you keep the air bubbles at the top of the test tube, then they know there's just water, solid water the other side. They tend not to dig through and drown themselves. So that's why I have it on a tilt. Anyway, long story there, but as you can see, because I've underwatered them, they've moved half the nest, more than half the nest, into this test tube, even on a tilt. There's loads of larvae in there, absolutely tons of workers. And now what I'm showing here, these are shots from inside the nest, because what I've obviously done is I've stuck in about 4 or 5 pipettes of water into the nest straight away, into the refill, and I'll let that soak in and see how it's doing, and then maybe add some more later to make sure it's properly humid again. But they're all charged down to the one end of the nest, because when you water a wakushi nest, if it's dry, it all starts soaking in from the side nearest where the hole is that you put the water in. So that's that side that you can see them all charging down towards, because they're now sucking some water out of the wall. And luckily both queens are still there, they're alive, there's no problems. The interesting bit to watch now will be to see how long it takes all the ones in the test tube to relocate back into the nest. I was filming this at 8:15 on Saturday night, and I predict definitely by the morning they'll all be back in, but they might even all be back in later on this evening, we'll see. Anyway, that's my little mess up, which I hope will have no long-lasting effects, and just demonstrates the importance of a lifeboat for your ants, a water lifeboat. The other thing then, obviously, because my main colony, the queen, has sadly died, I was thinking of starting again. It didn't take me long. I was walking home from work on Thursday, so that was the 25th, and I came across a single queen on the footpath right in front of me, and she had taken off the wings on one side, so 2 of her wings, because they have 4, 2 of her wings on the one side, and she was busy trying to take off the wings on the other side. I saw her do the little roll twice on the footpath, but she failed to dislodge the wings. And because she's like the only queen I'd seen on my way home from work, I hadn't seen any queens flying, I thought, where have you come from? She was still walking while she was doing the little rolling, and she was about to walk off the footpath and go into some undergrowth, and I thought, whoa, 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 no, and I caught her. So she hasn't detached them, she's still got wings on one side. At first, or that evening of the 25th, I thought to myself, maybe there was a nuptial flight in another part of the UK and she's just got blown by some strong winds and ended up miles away from where she started, and that's why there was just one queen, because it's very unusual to see just one queen when you're looking for Lasius niger, especially detaching their wings, which indicates a nuptial flight has happened or just happened. But I thought nothing more of it. I put her in a water test tube. I've got her. Then the next morning, the 26th, so this was Thursday, when I was walking to work about 8 o'clock in the morning, I came across queens with no wings. I think I saw about 5 or 6 on the way into work that morning. So there must have been a small nuptial flight on the evening of the 25th in North London. So yeah, I grabbed one of those queens that I saw in the morning on the way into work, and put her in a little pot. So this answers another question that people often ask. I had her in a little pot all day in my coat at work, and then brought her home at the end of the day, put her in a water test tube. She was in that pot from perhaps 8 o'clock in the morning till maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. So A, there's enough air in a little pot to last a queen ant all day, and B, she didn't have any water. Now, it was hot, and clearly she was missing water, because when I put her in the test tube, there were still little residual drops in there. I don't bother to shake them out. You don't need to. You don't need to paper towel them out. They'll dry up anyway quick enough. And they don't mind the odd little drop of water like that. So anyway, she went mad, started drinking straight away. Results on these queens, because we're on Saturday night. The one wing queen, I don't think she's done anything. It's very difficult to tell because she's made a little indentation in the cotton, and she likes to sit in the middle of the wet cotton next to the indentation. But I got the zoom quite in there, more than just these pictures, and I couldn't see any eggs, but it is very difficult to focus in there. So maybe she's got eggs. The queen I picked up the next morning, that spent all day with no water and then drunk a lot, she's got 6 eggs, I think. There it is, I counted. And that's after just 48 hours, so 6 eggs. So I've made that video in the past, Lasius niger queen from first day to workers, with little clip for every day, like stop motion, or not stop motion, speeded up, so it's 5 seconds a day. So yes, I know this is about right, 6 eggs after 48 hours, and if any of you want to see that development, I'll put the link to that video in the description. Anyway, I've rambled enough tonight. Like you can probably hear, I'm trying to be a bit more positive about ant keeping again and everything, and get back into things. Thank you very much. Till next time, goodbye. Just a quick amendment on the end of the video. I made this video, like I said earlier in the video, I was filming at 8:15. I've put all my little clips together, edited it, added the sound, and I'm ready to put it up on YouTube. And it was 10 o'clock, and I was just watching the video back before I put it up, and I looked at the Lasius flavus, and yep, already this evening they're relocating back into the nest. So there they go, back into the nest already. What's that, basically 2 hours after I watered the nest, they've got the message and they're going back again. Thank you again. Goodbye everybody.